Desperado here, and welcome to another 5-minute review. The book in question is a dystopian novel which I think deserves a place alongside 1984 and Brave New World. It is Zone 23 by American expat writer C.J. Hopkins. Zone 23 takes place in the 27th century, though some of its aspects seems like they could happen next week. The location is Northeast Region 709. Nations are obsolete. Everything's run by corporations. And anything that's outside the United Territories is presumably uninhabitable wasteland. The book has aspects of both 1984 and Brave New World, though mostly the latter. There's no single leader. The ones the book mentions are corporate CEOs. There are two types of people, normals and ASPs. The normals obey all the rules and they buy the right products and they follow the right celebrities. ASPs stand for antisocial persons, and they're banished to these slum-like quarantine zones, which are not prisons technically, but they have tall fences, watchtowers, and armed guards around them. The story follows two protagonists, Taylor Bird, an ASP3, which is the worst kind, and Valentina Briggs. She's a normal living in the surrounding community in an exclusive neighborhood. Taylor is a drug dealer, a thug, a robber, and he preys on people in his community. Valentina is a healthcare worker who is under the stigma of having a mentally ill mother, and they're constantly monitoring her because if she becomes mentally ill, she'll have to be banished to the zone. A lesser protagonist is Billy Jensen, who is a member of the under 30 clear generation who have been re-engineered so that they have no aggressive tendencies. But they don't have empathy either. So Billy has this favorite pastime, which is playing the online war game Kill Chain. And it's not a contradiction because he's got no problem with that. The book's cover shows a baby carriage with a cannon, which is the dilemma of both Valentina and Taylor. Taylor's gotten his girlfriend pregnant, and it's forbidden for ASPs to have children. But abortion is legal too, so they don't have that. They're in trouble. Valentina has a pregnancy that she and her husband wanted. It's an engineered embryo, of course, and she's now having second thoughts. What kind of creature am I bearing in my womb? She begins to have paranoid delusions and is approaching a breakdown. Zone 23 contains several themes that are appropriate to our current world situation. The first is the therapeutic state, as in our world where everybody's on meds of some sort or another. It's governed by corporations, just like our world, where you have to sign these draconian terms of service regulations that are only one-sided, and they have banished people for their behavior and for their opinions, which is like our world where people are canceled, they're kicked off social media, they are even sometimes denied banking services. Finally, the re-engineering of the clear population or the clear generation is much like these transhumanists who want to change people forcibly, such as Bill Gates wants to vaccinate us with GMO mosquitoes. And some people say, oh yes, let's make people allergic to meat using a vaccination so that they won't have that beef, which is bad for the climate. On that topic, I don't really buy the climate catastrophe aspect of the novel, although considering it's 600 years in the future, yeah, I guess it could come to pass from our wasteful lifestyle. Hopkins' writing is satirical and darkly humorous, and he often addresses the reader just like a 19th century novelist would. Dear reader, I like that. The characters are more complex than you'd think, and even Taylor is kind of sympathetic. Part of the narrative is violent and disturbing, so if you're sensitive, do not read this, but otherwise, I heartily recommend this novel for anyone who wants a challenging read that can make you think. Hopkins was born in 1961 in Miami. He's lived in Germany since 2004, where he came into conflict with the authorities' draconian COVID regulations. In 2022, he was fined because his book, The New Normal Reich, a collection of essays, bore a medical mask with a swastika on it. We can guess what he meant, but of course they said, well, he's supporting Nazism, which proves hate speech laws are not to protect anyone, they're to stifle dissent. In summary, our topic has been the 2015 novel Zone 23 by C.J. Hopkins, which deserves a place alongside 1984 and Brave New World. This has been another 5-minute review.